The Formula One off-season was buzzing with one of the wildest rumors we've heard in a while. Aston Martin supposedly offering Max Verstappen a jaw-dropping £1 billion contract to snatch him away from Red Bull. But now, Verstappen himself has weighed in, finally addressing the speculation and revealing the real reason behind his connection to the British brand. Now, let's get one thing straight. The idea of Verstappen making the switch to Aston Martin sent shockwaves through the F1 world. The guy is not just a four-time world champion, he's also one of the biggest names in motorsport, bringing unparalleled brand value. Any team linked to him, even outside of F1, instantly gains credibility and attention. And while Aston Martin's supposed offer may have been more about their GT3 racing program than an actual Formula One seat, it's proof of how teams are increasingly looking beyond traditional motorsport to boost their image. But here's where things get interesting. What if Verstappen actually became available on the driver market? The entire F1 grid would be turned upside down in a heartbeat. His presence would trigger a domino effect across teams, with top drivers and team bosses scrambling to adjust their plans. And let's not forget Aston Martin's own ambitions. Backed by billionaire Lawrence Stroll, they've been aggressively investing to become a title contender. Adding a name like Verstappen to the mix, even just in rumors, only fuels the narrative that they're serious about shaking things up at the top. That said, Verstappen's not exactly looking for a way out. He's locked in with Red Bull until 2028, and despite a rough 2024 season, yes, including that 10-race winless streak, he still clinched his fourth consecutive championship at the Las Vegas Grand Prix. So, while Aston Martin continues making moves to rise up the ranks, Verstappen remains laser-focused on his current dynasty alongside his trusted advisor, Helmut Marko. Now, let's talk about Aston Martin's actual lineup because, let's be real, this is where things get controversial. While their 2025 car is still being driven by Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll, many fans see this as one of the biggest mismatches in driver ability on the grid. Alonso, at 43, is still proving he's got the skills to fight at the top, pulling off masterful drives, maximizing the car's potential, and reminding everyone why he's a two-time world champion. Meanwhile, Stroll, well, let's just say his 2024 campaign didn't do much to silence the critics. He finished 13th in the standings, got outscored by an Alpine and a Haas, and barely threatened the top 10 in the second half of the season. The fact that he only managed a handful of Q3 appearances speaks volumes about his struggles. And who could forget his infamous Brazil moment, beached in the gravel, on the formation lap. It was probably the most memorable part of his year, and not in a good way. When you compare his points haul to Alonso's, it's even worse than Sergio Perez's gap to Verstappen, which is saying something. While Red Bull at least has the excuse of Verstappen being a generational talent, Aston Martin's situation just feels avoidable. Stroll's general lack of enthusiasm, his inconsistencies in racecraft, and his inability to extract more from the car all raise one big question. Does he even want to be in Formula One? Or is he simply there because his father owns the team? At this point, Aston Martin's biggest roadblock might not be their car development. It could be their second driver. Christian Horner has responded to talk of a big-money Aston Martin approach for Max Verstappen, insisting the Dutchman is very happy at Red Bull. It was recently reported that Aston Martin had targeted four-time world champion Verstappen, who holds a deal to race for Red Bull through 2028, in a £1 billion package. During press sessions at this week's F175 live event in London, Red Bull team boss Horner was asked about the headlines and how he reacted when he saw them. I know you guys, the media, have all got column inches to fill over a winter period, but a £1 billion driver, $1 billion, it would be an eye-wateringly large amount of money, said Horner. I think Max is very happy in the environment that he's in. He's grown up in the team. He has a great relationship with the team, the engineers, the technicians, and everybody that he works with. It's down to us to provide a competitive car and continue to give him the platform to be able to achieve the results that he has over the last almost 10 years. Pushed on whether it's realistic for a team to afford such a salary, Horner added, I can't comment on other teams' finances, but Red Bull are relatively well positioned, I would think, compared to others within the pit lane. Verstappen was also asked for his comments on the reports when he met up with journalists, laughing with his initial response that it's a lot of money before playing things down. Honestly, when I read that, it's the first time that I saw something like that. Asked to clarify what the GT3 contract was about, he explained, "It's not me personally driving, but I'm starting my own team for this year with the drivers, so of course some things need to be in place." Verstappen will head into the 2025 season aiming to join an exclusive club of 5-time world champions, with Juan Manuel Fangio, Michael Schumacher, and Lewis Hamilton the only other drivers to achieve the feat. Red Bull, meanwhile, are looking to reclaim the Constructors' Championship crown, having won the 2022 and 2023 titles before slipping to third, behind McLaren and Ferrari last time out. Lawrence Stroll isn't here to play games. He's invested billions into turning Aston Martin into a championship contender, hiring elite engineers, poaching top talent, and now securing a massive partnership with Honda for 2026. And if that's not enough, there are even whispers of legendary designer Adrian Newey potentially joining the team. Stroll is going all in. So, when rumors surfaced that Aston Martin was making a massive bid for Max Verstappen, it didn't seem entirely far-fetched. A world-class car, a top-tier engine, and the best driver on the grid? That's a title-winning formula. Then came the bombshell. Reports claiming Aston Martin was preparing a staggering $1 billion offer for Verstappen. Let that sink in. $1 billion package. The news sent shockwaves through the paddock. But here's the catch. Both Verstappen and Aston Martin have shut down the rumors. Stroll's camp dismissed them as complete nonsense, and Max himself brushed them off. Still, in F1, where there's smoke, there's usually fire. Could something be happening behind the scenes? Meanwhile, Verstappen isn't just focused on F1. He's launching his own GT3 racing team, Verstappen.com Racing. And guess what car he's been testing? An Aston Martin GT3. Coincidence? Maybe. But with a potential partnership in the works and his longtime friend Thierry Vermeulen set to drive for the team, the Verstappen-Aston Martin connection is already growing. Could this be the first step towards something bigger? For now, Verstappen remains firmly tied to Red Bull, under contract until 2028. He has dismissed Aston Martin's rumored billion-dollar offer and reaffirmed his commitment to the team that has made him a 3-time world champion. However, F1 is unpredictable. If cracks begin to show in Red Bull's dominance, everything could change. Stroll is building Aston Martin into a serious contender, securing Honda for 2026, and potentially adding Adrian Newey to the mix. The long-term vision is clear. While an immediate move seems unlikely, the idea of Verstappen joining Aston Martin post-2028 cannot be ruled out. If he ever hits the driver market, the entire F1 landscape would shift dramatically. So, is Max Verstappen really leaving Red Bull for Aston Martin? Right now, the answer is no. He's locked in at Red Bull, and they remain the dominant force. But in F1, things change fast. And if there's even the slightest opening at Red Bull, you can bet Stroll will be ready to pounce. What do you think? Will we ever see Verstappen in Aston Martin green? Drop your thoughts in the comments.